Hi kids, I'm teaching from the floor today because that's where we want you guys to take your photos for Aperture Priority. So the first thing we're gonna do is grab our cameras, go ahead, turn your camera on, check your battery, make sure you do all that fun stuff on the gray box with the yellow highlight. Excuse me, allergies, I promise, not COVID. Okay, it's kind of dark in my apartment today, so I'm gonna go 400. Even though you can see I have all this natural light coming in, I'm still gonna go for 400 right now, and we're gonna test that. Flash and exposure compensation, 0.0. Image quality should be on fine, JPEG, large, all that fun stuff. So make sure you guys have your settings ready to go. Now, the first thing I'm gonna do for Aperture Priority, what does that mean? Yes, good job. You set the aperture, the camera sets the shutter. So you wanna make sure Aperture Priority, I'm giving priority to aperture. That means I choose aperture, the camera sets the shutter. So how do we do that? On your mode dial, you're going to set it to A. So you see where the little white line is? That should be on A. That is for Aperture Priority. The next thing that you need is a toy. I'm gonna do my RBG, RIP. We love Ruth Bader Ginsburg, so she's gonna be the toy that I choose to take my photos of. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the toy, let me move back a little bit, kind of maybe about 3 feet in front of you, kind of like that, all right? So with my Aperture Priority selected, I wanna do large depth of field first. So for large depth of field, I'm gonna move my wheelie dial. So with Aperture Priority, when I move my wheelie dial, my aperture is going to move. So on this camera, I have to move it to the right, but yours might be a little different. So let's see, so you guys can see, there we go. So you can see I'm going to F13, F18, F22 is gonna be pretty good. All right, you see I'm at F22 right there. Okay, so F22 is large depth of field because don't forget a small aperture, a small opening or a small aperture is large depth of field because depth of field and aperture are opposites. If we also think depth of field is controlled by aperture, okay? So large depth of field, if that is my concern, I need to use my Aperture Priority for that. Okay, now, with a very, very small aperture, if I have a small aperture and that opening is really, really teeny tiny, not a lot of light is gonna get into the camera. So the camera is gonna compensate by having a slow or fast shutter. A slow shutter, right, because it needs to let more light in with shutter because the opening of the aperture is so small. Now, because of that, I need to be super careful when I'm taking this photo. Because it's a slow shutter, it means that it's gonna be a long photo and we don't wanna get camera shake in there. So that's why I'm actually photographing on the floor so I can keep my whole body steady when I take that photo. Okay, so here we go. I'm at F22. Because she's a vertical photo, I'm actually gonna take it vertically. All right, I wanna make sure that I am on manual focus. I'm gonna get at my toy's level, and then I'm gonna take my photo. Whoa, this is a very long shutter. I don't think that's gonna work. It would help if I had more light in my apartment right now, but you know what? That was a little too shaky, so I'm going to change my aperture, even F11. No, let's try, I'm gonna go F14. So let's try that. Plus, I should add more light, but we're gonna go for the best. Still too blurry. Let me go add some lights. I'll be right back. Okay, here. I just added more light, so let's see if that works. So I'm still at F14, which is still considered large depth of field. And let's try this again. Focus. Still too slow. So another solution could be I can change my ISO to 800. So let's try that. I'm gonna click my info button, gray box with the yellow highlight. Let's go to 800. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That one looks good. So I had to increase light. I had to change my ISO to 800 so that I could get a shutter that wasn't too slow, all right? Now, I'm gonna stay in the exact same position, but now I'm gonna do small depth of field. So for that one, I'm gonna move my wheelie dial because we're still on the A for mode dial. I'm gonna move my wheelie dial to let's go f3.5. Okay, now here's something that you guys should see. So right now, can you see? I can't get to f3.5. I can only go to f5.3. So on your lens, you're gonna see numbers. You see how there's 18 to 55? Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change to 18. When I go to 18 and then I try to move my aperture, now I can go to f3.5. Come on, there we go. Okay, so now I'm at f3.5. So I'm gonna stay in the exact same position to take the exact same photo. Now you might have to move a little closer to it because I changed my lens. And I'm gonna focus and take my photo. Beautiful. So now I can see the difference between large depth of field and small depth of field. Now for your final photo, this is where you need 3 toys or objects that are the same size. I'm gonna use my 3 Halloween trees. Now when you set these out, you're gonna have 1 off to the side and 2 are gonna be off to the side of that. So I think you can see the black tree. So if the black, you don't want it right in line, you see how they're in line, you want this one out just a little bit, okay? You want the middle one out to the side a little bit, and this is gonna be the one that I concentrate on. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna still stay small depth of field, so I have my lens set at 18, so I can go to f3.5. So I'm gonna be at f3.5, and I'm gonna concentrate just on this tree, all right? So I'm gonna focus on the black tree. So the black tree is gonna be in the center. Okay, so I'm focusing on the black tree and that's it. I'm not worrying about the orange or the purple. Boom, got it. So, I mean, let me move this purple one back just a little more and let's try that again. There we go. So for this one, you'll see that the foreground and middle ground are out of focus, but the middle ground is in focus, which we all know is also considered small depth of field. So you're gonna try all 3 photos for your photo shoot today: large depth of field, small depth of field with 1 object, and then small depth of field focusing on middle ground. So good luck.
Your attention, do I have your attention? Do I have your attention? Do I have your attention? Do I have your attention?
Is you taking notes?
3, 2, work.